Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Now I think we are live. I guess now. Something popped up and I can't get rid of it.
Well, I guess we are alive technically.
All right, that's good to hear there.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so
I prefer that over the alternative.
okay, that's good there. Which is possibly recording our shows there, or something like that there. All
Well, I
right,
was talking
so
about alive, but okay.
okay, alive either way there. All right, so good afternoon, everybody. It's Arknolia and the Doctor, episode number 79, and we're doing this without YR, who's on his channel doing his a drama show with Bullfrog there. I guess later on I'll probably check in to see what's going on with that situation there. And so it's just me and Ark at the time being there. So sorry we were kind of late here. I was trying to get home, but the traffic was like way backed up because it's holiday season. Everyone's getting the things for Thanksgiving this coming Thursday there. And of course, as we all know, people working hard, working a lot more later and stuff like that. And usually traffic is not this bad as it was earlier today, but then again, it is the time of the holidays here, so that's understandable.
Right.
Yeah, but however, I mean, I had to try to really keep my cool as much as I can because I know how frustrated I get when I'm trying to get home and there's so much traffic backing us up here. So I'm not trying to. So I don't want to do anything rational or stupid. I don't want to do anything retarded or anything like that. So uh, I'm just glad I'm finally able to get home and do the show there. So once again, our apologies for being late while doing this broadcast here. So okay, so we're starting on the teas now of our prog rock list of bands and artists there. So who do you have on the first of our list?
Well, the first band I got's one you've possibly heard of,
Yeah.
Tangerine Dream.
Oh yeah. Oh, we know this one. This was now we did a special on this group, a couple weeks back, as you know. They were like one of the big. They were like considered as the pioneers of the new age, dark ambient kind of genres that kind of like made it big throughout the 1980s. There, you remember all these new age, people worshiping crystals, meditating to this and that there, which is, I'm sorry, I'm not a big meditator. If I'm going to listen to
No.
something dark, I'm going to listen to it in a very dark area. Like I mentioned this many times before, my favorite album from them is Atom, Atem. So people won't get confused with atom as an atom bomb or atom smasher there. And I used to listen to that album a lot of times when I was in the nighttime, when I was walking around the Woodlands area there, or riding my bike late at night. Back in
Mood
Detroit,
music.
yeah, absolutely. It's like and I used to listen to that album a lot when I would cruise around Belle Isle back in Detroit late at night just as well. I would get off of work. I would go off of work. I would hang out doing that spot there a lot of times, and just drive around. Try being driving around with no headlights on, which was not a good idea. But knowing the adventurous person that I am at times. But either way, they're considered one of the big pioneers of the dark music, dark electronic music genre. That kind of they're kind of like the cross between electronica and dark ambient. Needless to say, there. Of course, their music kind of like swayed towards the light side throughout the years there, starting with that one album in '79. There, it was just Chris Frank and Edgar Froese, rest in peace. For so Manor, something like that, I think it was called.
Sounds okay.
Yeah, okay, okay, later. Anyways, it's a good album from them just as well there. So definitely Tangerine is definitely considered one of the most prog bands out there. And they also keep in mind that whenever they would do their shows, they would come up with original compositions during their performances there. So definitely a huge shout out to the Dream there, who by the way are still together. It's just not without its main members. The guy who had worked with Froze up until Froze's death in 2015, he was personally named the successor to lead Tangerine Dream. I cannot pronounce his full name in general, but I think it's Johannes or something like that, Schenkenberg or something there. Remember, I'm terrible at the pronouncing names like that,
Well, it's
unfortunately.
German names anyway.
Yeah, it's true there, but still, I guess it's required to get their names pronounced like they, if you want to be a good broadcaster and stuff there. So, fortunately, I'm not that good yet. So, but either way, the Dream's still together, and guess to come in a couple of their shows, they've kind of like switched back to the old dark music genre that they started out in the 70s there. And a lot of compliments on the YouTube section there kind of like is hinting that as well there. This really takes us back to the old Tangerine Dream.
Right.
Yeah. So there you go. Props to Tangerine Dream for their accomplishments.
Yeah. Next one on the list here, man, I don't consider them prog at all, but what do I know, I suppose.
Really?
Tears for Fears?
More like 80s music when you look at it there.
Yeah, I don't consider them prog.
Yeah. Because, they're more like the kind of like the new wave crowd.
Yeah. So we'll go by them. Next one I got is Tempest.
But however, we got to acknowledge a couple of their songs there. Now, we know Shout. We know
Right.
Everybody Wants to Rule the World. We know songs like, songs like, what's it called? The Shelter? Something like, no, not The Shelter. Something like that. Mad World. Mad World.
Yeah,
That was interpreted into a couple of dance tracks there a couple times in the past.
I guess if you stretch the definition a little bit, they're semi-prog, but boy, that's stretching the definition.
Yes, and I think they're supposed to be doing a tour pretty soon, I believe, this year here. And yes, they do, like every other band from the 80s, they have definitely grown gray hair. Definitely their guitarist, Ron Orzenbell.
Okay, the next one I got is Tempest.
Mm-hmm.
They were a 70s band, and they featured Alan Holdsworth
Mm.
and John Heiserman.
John Heiserman. Okay, I thought you meant John Houseman, the actor there for a second. I was like, wait a minute.
No, I don't think it was them or a band.
Now, Alan Holdsworth, he's credited, being a guitar pioneer, but unfortunately, according to many others, he was still paying his dues. Is he still around, by the way?
As far as I know, I don't know. I don't know that he isn't.
Let me check the Wikipedia here and find out because he's considered influential as Eddie Van Halen is, but yet, however, he's still considered paying his dues here and there. Okay, let me give it a few while here. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Blah 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 blah. Alan Holdsworth. Fuck it, I'll do it this way there. Alan Holdsworth. There we go. See if he's still around here and there. Yep. He did die. He died in April 2017 at Visa, California. He was a British jazz fusion and progressive rock guitarist and composer. He was known for his, what's it called? Estradic and usage of advanced music theory concepts, and especially in regards to melody and harmony. He was like mostly considered a jazz guitarist and prog rock, I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess he died in April of 2017 at the age of 70. No cause of death was officially disclosed. But apparently, according to some reports, it was heart disease that claimed his life. Man, very sad there. And he's associated with Bill Bruford, Eddie Jobson, and other artists like Gordon Beck and Jimmy Johnson, other musicians there. Very sad.
Yeah. Next band is not even on my list, and I don't know why.
Hmm.
It's a group by the name of Tiles, Tiles.
Hmm. Tiles. That's I remember hearing a band called Tiles. I think that may have been. It was a local band out of the Detroit area there.
They are from Detroit.
Oh wow, there. Well, interesting. Oh, I got to look that up again because it's always
Yeah, and I
interesting.
sent you a link to one of their songs,
I think so. Did you? Tiles.
Reasonable Doubt.
Ah, Tiles band. Let me look that up. You got to put band and next to so
Yeah.
many names because people go to think they're floor tiles. Okay, Tiles. Is an American progressive rock band from Detroit, Michigan. They have released several albums on the Inside Out music label and toured internationally since the release of their first release in 1994. Interesting there. It's good to know there. There's still a band, prog band out of Detroit, my hometown. All right. All right, so definitely mentioned the Motor City for this there. Okay, go ahead, dude.
Next, I got another one that I guess they're prog, but I'm not. I hear a lot about them,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess they're more alternative, but they're considered prog. Is a band named Tool.
Tugal?
Tool.
Oh my gosh, they're definitely prog to the hardcore. They're like alternative prog. Definitely that. They ranging from their album covers to their videos, their music, their stage shows just as well. In fact, here's something else. I don't know if I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but there's there's some audio concert recordings of Tool recorded live with King Crimson. I guess they did some shows together on the same
Mm.
stage. I guess there. I know Robert Fripp would do some sort of a guitar soundscape, and they would. That's when they would kick into their first big hit, "Sober" from 1993. And it's always interesting when two bands are on the stage, and they're collaborating on each other's songs.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes when artists play together,
Yeah.
it's decent. One of the best concerts I ever saw
And I'm
way
looking.
back.
Yeah, man. Let's see here. It was a brief tour. This was in 2001 that they did this. Hard Rock Heavyweights Tour will team up with veterans King Crimson for a 9-date tour on the west coast of the U.S., starting in August that year. Okay, this is from Billboard magazine there. Tool is in support of their album at the time on Volcano Records titled Lateralis. Did I pronounce that right?
I got me, but I think it sounds right.
Yeah, right there. It's debuted at number one that year in the Billboard 200 there, and it's currently number 18 on the chart, or it was 18 at the chart. Schism was number two on the Billboard's rock mainstream chart, and number four on the modern rock charts. Now, Crimson, which at that time consisted of Trey Gunn, Adrian Belew, Pat Mastolato, and of course Robert Fripp. They were recording. They were supporting their album at that time, "The Construction of Light," one of my favorites from them. And it was, of course, 9 dates in Colorado, Oregon, California, and mostly in California, like areas like L.A., Berkeley, and San Diego, which
Right.
is pretty good there. And if I understand, there was also, and of course, there was bootleg concert recordings of their shows, some of their shows there, as I mentioned.
Yeah, Tool actually was from Los Angeles, so
Yeah, so which is pretty cool there. Interesting. So the young meets the old. Needless to say there, which is good.
yeah. Next one I got's an interesting band too.
Hmm.
I really like them.
Yeah,
Transatlantic.
transatlantic there. Oh, before we start up, we also got to give it up to Tool for working with another act that I am a big admirer of, Lustmord. Now, the Lustmord album, Other, featured the cover of that album was done by Adam Jones, who's a Tool's guitar player. He also contributes some guitar licks on tracks like God Eater, Erebus, and a couple others as well there. As well, oh yeah, Dark Awaken. That's another track from that album there. And of course, Lustmore and the Exchange remix a couple of some of one of their earlier songs as well there, which is pretty cool there, including the one I mentioned, Sizzle. Is a 20-minute remix featuring all of Lustmore's audio elements, all the recognizable sounds you hear on a Lustmore album at that time. All right, so Transatlantic is the band you're talking about?
Yeah, they're a multinational progressive rock supergroup
Mm.
consisting of Neil Morris, Ronnie Stahl, Pete Trueus, uh, Mike Portnoy.
Mm.
They formed in 1999 as a side project to their full-time bands, but disbanded in 2002. They
Ah,
later
wow.
reunited in 2009.
Ah, I see there.
They were members of Dream Theater, Spock's Beard, Flower Kings, and Marillion.
Ah, I see there. Now, does Mike Portnoy still play with Dream Theater, or has he departed, or did he quit altogether there?
I think he departed from Dream Theater.
Yeah, because I know he was involved with that group, the Winery Dogs, with Billy
Yeah.
Sheenan on bass guitar there. And I forgot the other guitar player's name there. I think it was blah blah blah. Son of a name, go. This recognizable name there. It always pisses me out. They have to go back to the Chrome Google search there. Blah 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 blah. The Winery Dogs. See, I'm doing my phone mostly because it's a lot better on my phone rather than doing it on the computer because it takes a long ass time of doing it
Right.
on my computer when I'm live streaming there. All right, it's Billy Sheenan on bass guitar, Mark Portnoy on drums, and Richie Kotzen, who was one time a guitarist for Poison.
Hmm.
Believe it or not. And I guess they're a man band. They're still together, I guess, or I don't know if they're doing these shows as of late there, but you know, at the same time, you got to give them credit for their credit is due there,
Yeah.
right?
Next one I got is Trans Siberian Orchestra, which actually I always consider them more of a Christmas band, but they do a lot of stuff, not just Christmas.
Yeah, I guess of what I understand, the shows are often compared to the Pink Floyd shows there with all the lasers, the sound quality, and everything else there. And
It's usually a big deal.
yeah, it is exactly there. It's like Pink Floyd for Christmas time only.
Yeah, well, I think they do other stuff mainly, but a lot of what I'm familiar with, because I have a lot of their stuff,
Yeah,
is Christmas tunes.
yeah, exactly. I mean, every album they really put it out was about Christmas. Like The Lost Christmas Eve was one of them there.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like a more harder, more progressive rock version of another band, another project, Mannheim Steamroller.
Yeah.
And that group was a favorite of the late Rush Limbaugh for many years there.
Yeah. But this band was definitely more prog.
All right.
I mean, I don't know how prog you can be with Christmas, but they were there.
Mm. But there was a big chance to take there when you think about it there. So they definitely
Yep.
deserve a lot of respect for that.
Okay, next one I got is Triumvirate. They were a German rock band.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. 70s.
1970s there. Interesting there.
And they were a big key figure in U-Rock, the progressive rock of
Ah,
continental Europe.
all right. All right. So I don't really know too much about them, but I think are they still existing, or did they decide to break up there afterwards?
Oh, I'm pretty sure they broke up, but I don't know that for an absolute fact.
All right, there. I see. There looks. I'm gonna have to. Let's see. check again on the wiki. Let me check on the Wikipedia there. What's the name of the band again?
Triumvirate.
All right there. All right,
Triumvirate.
let me try it here. Triumvirate. No, it comes out something else there. It came out something else there.
Okay, it will
My
be
bad.
TR.
All right, son of a name goat. There you go again. How do you spell it again, Dane Gummit?
TR.
T-R
IUM.
I-U-M
VIRAT.
V-I-R-A-T. Okay, let's see what we got here. Yep, exactly there. They were a West German progressive rock band from what's it called, Cologne, and then West Germany. They became during the 70s a key figure in what was called Euro rock, what you mentioned, the progressive rock of continental Europe, whose German variant is called krautrock. And it was a band, yeah, as you said, they are no longer together there. All right, go ahead there.
All right, next one I got is UK.
The band UK. I remember hearing that name. I guess one of the members was a John Wetton, if I understand.
They were a British progressive rock supergroup,
Mm-hmm.
originally active from the 70s to the 80s. The band was founded by bass guitarist John Wetton
Who was in King Crimson and
and drummer
and of course Asia just as well throughout the 80s there.
Bill Bruford.
From yes, King Crimson as well, and his own project called Earthworks. He had that group going on to the side just as well there, and of course the violinist Eddie Jobson.
Right.
Yes, I heard that name a couple times in the past there. I guess he's like a solo artist or a collaborator at times, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, there. So, there you go. I've heard that name a couple times in the past, around 1979. I was wondering who they were at times at that then.
I don't see him on the list, but another one that was prog at this time was UFO.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? Credit to UFO. They were one of the many bands that inspired bands like Iron Maiden. And we know what's famous member. They had a couple other famous members. Phil Mogg, their front man. One of their members, bassist. I forgot his name. I did a tribute to him about a year ago. He passed away. And of course, we cannot forget one of their most recognizable members, guitarist Michael Schenker. Schenker
Right.
started out on this with the Scorpions with his brother Rudolph, and after some gigs together with UFO, which was just forming at that time, they convinced Schenker Michael to join UFO. So Schenker jumped at the chance. They recorded many albums like Lights Out, Strangers in the Night, Force It, Phenomenon, and everything else. Their most recognizable song is the one called Doctor Doctor, which Iron Maiden covered as a B single at one point there. Schenker did reunite with UFO, and I guess in '93 for an album, a tour as such, and Schenker is still doing shows now. After his departure from the band in '79, he cut his hair, got himself that iconic black and white design Gibson Flying V, and of course formed the Michael Schenker group with classics like "Rock My Nights Away," "Into the Arena," and "Armed," of course, "Armed and Ready."
Yeah.
Yep, and Captain Nemo, "Attack of the Mad Axemen," and he's still around today doing shows there. And as you could tell, possibly he may have been, he's probably going bald on top because every time we see him in publicity photos and on concert pics, he's usually wearing this wool hat over his head there. So obviously, I'm thinking that he probably may be losing some hair on top. That's one of the first indications.
Yeah. some of the rest of us just accept what it is and go with it.
Yeah. Another example would have to be Matthias Yabs from the Scorpions. He's wearing a cap all the time on his head there, so he's definitely a golden bald. And we all knew Klaus Mean there, the front man. You can tell he was losing his hair on top when we first saw the video for No One Like You back in 81, 82 there on the old MTV.
Yeah. Next one I got is interesting because when I read the description, like, you know what, I got to find some of their stuff and get into them a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a band called Humphrey Spaghetti.
Humphrey McGee. Let me try this. Humphreys McGee.
UmphreY.
Yep, I see it right here, man. I got it there. All right, they have official store shop for CDs here on here. Let's see, it's a band, of course. I'm looking at some of the images. The lights are just all over the place here. It's an American jam band from South Bend, Indiana. They experiment with many musical styles: rock, metal, funk, jazz, blues, reggae, electronic, cock rock, and folk music. You know, they toured regularly and they released several albums. And of course, you know, they're still together. I understand there. And from what I understand, I'm looking at some of the their stage design. It's like, holy cow, man, interesting.
Yeah,
A lot of
the
lights.
what I read made it interesting enough that I'm going to try to find some of their stuff and listen to it.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting there. Wow. All this stuff, man. All the lights. I mean, like, and when you think about it, kind of like and not to this, but they kind of like put Pink Floyd's stage set with their lasers almost to shame when you look at it there. And this is from a venue. I'm looking at what the
I was going to
images.
say that takes some doing to do that.
And I know it's like holy cow. Let me get this here. Let me put the image downloaded in, and I'll put in the Skype chat for you there. Give it a couple minutes here. Wow, this is a trip, though. All right, give it a couple minutes here because you know how my phone likes to take its own sweet time here and there. Blah blah blah, huh? Let's hear there. And it's not coming out. Give it a while there. There we go. Let's do this. All right. Okay, I'm gonna give it a couple minutes, folks. You go ahead with the list there, dude.
Okay, next one I got is a band that I think a few people have heard of.
Yeah.
Uriah Heep.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that Mick Box, their guitarist, he's the one still holding on, making the heap. You know, he's still holding on to the heap, as you could say there. They had a lot of lineup changes there. One of their members, Ken Hensley, their most recognizable keyboard player, he died not too long ago, a couple years. I think it was last year there.
Yeah.
And also, we also got, I can't forget David Bryan, the original
Right.
frontman, who died in 1985 from too much alcohol, I guess it was. And they released many albums, many albums. The first,
Probably 30 or so.
absolutely there. Now, I guess they still tour there. And of course, you know, Mick Box, the only original member left there. Of course, you know, Lee Kerslake, their original drummer, uh, he passed away last year after dealing with liver cancer. And of course, he's also remembered for his work on the first solo albums for Ozzy Osbourne,
Yeah.
Blizzard of Oz, and Diary of a Madman. And sad thing is, you know, him and Bob Daisley, the bass player and a co-songwriter, they didn't really receive a lot of much credit when it came to the second record, Diary of a Madman. They apparently, at the recording of that album, they were replaced with Rudy Sarzo and Tommy Aldrich. And they were, and in one of the inner sleeves of the album, there was a photograph of all those four together, and people presumed that those that lineup played on that album, when it was actually Daisley and Kerslake who played on Diary of a Madman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I
And
think my favorite album by them was Demons and Wizards.
mine was Sweet Freedom.
Oh, that's a very close second.
Absolutely, man. Very. My dad had this collection of old, ancient cassettes, and one of them was "Sweet Freedom" from Uriah Heep. And this was not the open. You could tell it's old because it was one of the kind cases where you pulled the cassette out of instead of it opening up like a book nowadays.
Right.
And I tried to see if I could order it, order the new version of that album back in the one record store, but they said the only place that they had it on cassette form was in New Zealand. I'm like, huh? Huh?
Well,
Now,
yeah.
credit to Castle Communications for re-releasing their entire catalog, like they did with some of the Black Sabbath albums, and of course the Nazareth albums as well. There, they've released that iconic album, which we also know in the main hit from that album, the one called "Stealing," a song about someone in regretful remorse for some of the things that they did.
Right.
Yes. Kind of like if you're feeling kind of like regretful for something that you did, that song's for you.
And actually, the title song's a very good song.
It is, yes. If I had the time is an awesome song to listen to. The beginning of that, the synthesizer that was excuse me, bleh. The synthesizer hook on that track there is pretty damn good as well. There, Seven
Yeah.
Stars, Circus, The Last Cut, Pilgrim, my bad.
Yeah, those are both good albums, and you can add Look at Yourself to that list.
Absolutely. Of course, we cannot forget other albums like Head First,
Right.
Equator from 1985, another good album where they had a
High and Mighty.
High and Mighty there. And of course, we cannot forget that one album that they did in 1982 when they came back, A Bottomog. If you ever saw
Yep.
the cover of that album, Ark, be careful. Because when I remember I was at a Kmart and I wanted my mom to buy me the Bob Roos album from Black Sabbath. She's like, "Oh, that's a hideous cover there." And I saw the Bottomog album nearby and said, "Well, what about that one, Mom?" And she was like, "Ugh." She had to take 40 steps back, like in shock. But then again, at the time when I first saw it, I was like, "What the hell are these guys? Demon worshippers? Or what the fuck?"
Yeah.
Ah, dude, if you have a child that's running amok and being bad, the best thing to do is enlarge that image, put it over the kid's bed, and when the kid wakes up, he was like, ah, and that's a sort of a speaker go talk through it, going, "Yo, I heard you being bad, young boy. You don't want to end up with me. You better be a good boy." You know that
Yeah,
might that would work definitely. That would freak them the
that
hell
would
out.
turn some lives around.
Oh yeah, it definitely would. Okay, and
Well, the next one I got, we kind of discussed
yep.
when we were talking about Todd Rundgren, and that's Utopia.
Oh yeah. Now, believe it or not, you remember the song "Love Is the Answer" from Utopia?
Yeah.
Yes. And actually, the "Love Is the Answer" from England and John Ford Coley. I meant to say, my bad, because Utopia recorded it first from one of their albums entitled "Oops, Wrong Planet."
Right.
Yes, and of course it was a little plea from Todd himself, like, let's get it together. There are homeless boys and girls, people walking their heads and not paying attention. We need a lot more love in this world, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Which is kind of seems appropriate now with all this cancel culture, people not paying attention to things going on here, you know. I know they show some love through the internet, through Facebook and Twitter there, but it's best to show it in person.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now, of course, we know Utopia lasted throughout many albums in the 80s. I remember Hammer on My Heart. That was like a big hit on MTV on the radio at that time. There was a one called, I think it was called Cry Baby, and I remember it played on the radio and on the old MTV just as well there.
Yeah.
That was an
They had
interesting
another
video.
album. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but one side of it was one song that was like 23 minutes long.
Ah, yeah. That's something there.
Oh, I wish I could remember the name of it on top
Oh,
of my head.
yeah. Now, Utopia released many records there. The one I remember was, I think it came out on a record label called Boardwalk Records. That's the one I was telling you about with Hammer in My Heart.
Right.
There's a hammer on my heart, pounding out your name. So, and I don't know if they're still together or not. I don't know for sure.
I I don't think so, but who knows?
Hmm. Okay, there.
Next one I got is a Van der Graaf generator.
Van der Graaf Generator.
Yeah, they were British, and they're basically considered highly influential.
Hmm. I see there. All right.
Let's see if I can get some more on them.
Yeah, I'm gonna. And by the
Formed
way,
in
but
1967.
all right there, nice. That's way early there. And by the way, for the record, I put a photo of one of their that band's stage show on the Skype chat here. You see what I'm talking about there?
Right.
You see it there?
No, I'm in a different place.
All right, there. The deputy click on it, see what I'm talking about in terms of lights and stuff going all over the place there.
This group was formed by Peter Hamill and Chris Judge Smith, and they were the first act signed by Charisma Records.
Genesis old label there.
Yeah.
And the Charisma Records was distributed by Virgin Records, to be exact there,
Right.
folks.
Right.
It was an offshoot label, as they put it there.
And the next one I got is actually an individual.
Mm-hmm.
His name's about 6 miles long, but he's known as Vangelis.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my
And
God.
we know his big song, right?
Yeah, Chariots of Fire, the theme from that movie there, which
Yeah.
got massive radio airplay. He also did the score for the first Blade Runner movie of the following year with Harrison Ford in the movie there. Rieger Halter, Daryl Hannah, Edward James Olmos, he was in that movie as well there. And that was one of the first, real cyborg movies that come out around that time. A couple years before the first Terminator would exist.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, the next one I got is Rick Wakeman.
Oh yeah, I've also forgot. Vangelis did a couple of albums with John Anderson of Yes. Look
Yeah.
for the album The Friends of Mr. Cairo. All right, go ahead and Rick Wakeman.
Rick Wakeman.
Ah, yes, there.
He definitely did the concept album bit.
Yes, he did the one the 8 Wives of Henry V or the Eighth, I think it was.
6 Wives of Henry VIII.
Yes, thank you. And of course, he also detailed in the back how each one perished.
Right.
And of course,
Kind of wrote a little story about him because it's an instrumental album.
Yes. And we also cannot forget his live performance of Journey to the Center of the Earth, based on the Jules Verne novel there. I think he was the one who wrote it. Yes. I played that for, I got that out of a used record store one time. And of course, I, played it for a gal I was seeing around 2003. I gave it to her, and she was like spellbound by that album there. It was a live performance with a narrator and singer and everything there.
Yeah, it had a orchestral bit. I mean, it was incredible.
Yes, it was.
To say the least.
And the cover art for the inner sleeve cover art, the little booklet, was interesting just as well there.
Yeah. And then I forget the exact name of the album, but then he followed that up with one about King Arthur.
Okay. King Arthur's Court, I think it is. Rick Wakeman in Shakespeare's Court, I think it was.
Well, not Shakespeare.
King Arthur. Because there was the cover of one of his albums featured right in along with he was standing there in his regular clothing, the long shirt there and the pants there, along with the, I guess it was, let me look it up there, Rick Wakeman albums there. Now, Rick Wakeman also did, I guess, an interview talk show for British TV. He had many musical guests, including Tony Iommi of Black Sabbath there. And
Yeah.
by the way, he also played on Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. He did the keyboards for their song Sabra Cadabra, which he didn't get paid in money, but in beer.
Which probably worked for him.
Yep, absolutely there. So the albums here let's see, Piano Odyssey, the British live performance, Red Planet. Let's see here, what's called Rick Rock and Roll Prophet. And let's see here, a list of his albums here. Okay, show more. Okay, let's see what we got here. Yes Songs. Oh, No Earthly Connection. White Rock. 1984. The Sub Rhapsodies. Return to the Center of the Earth. Piano Portraits. Rick Wakeman's Criminal Record. Piano Odyssey. Country Airs. The Burning, which is a soundtrack, from what I understand there.
Yeah.
He did the movie for the soundtrack for, you know, Mania that starred Roger Daltrey.
Litzmania, yeah.
Yes, thank you. And he did a live version of The Six Wives of Henry VIII, Christmas Portraits, Christmas Variations, Out There, Silent Nights, Sea Airs, live at Hammersmith, The Two Sides of Yes, Cost of Living, Piano Variations, Time Machine, Beyond the Planets, and Night Airs. Oh, a lot more as well. Wow. Phantom Power, The Seven Wonders of the World, The Classical Connection there. Wow.
Oh, the myths and legends of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table.
Oh, yeah. All right, there we go there. That's the one I was thinking of there. Thank you. And that must be, I'm looking up there, because there was there, never mind there. My bad. I confused the cover with a different album. It was that one photo. It was the Henry VIII album where it had him on the front cover there alongside Henry VIII himself.
Yeah, and that is a good album too.
Really, definitely worth a listen to when I get done from work. Probably check it out on YouTube there if it's up there.
Yeah. Is it?
Is it what?
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where it was.
Mm-hmm. We're still on the. I think it's in the.
Well, no, I mean, I was thumbing through pages.
Mm-hmm.
There I am.
All right.
Next one they list here is Winger.
Winger?
Yeah.
The band Winger? Oh, wait. How? Winger is usually, I mean, Kip Winger, Red Beach.
Yeah, they're an American heavy metal band. But has combined elements of glam metal and progressive metal.
Because I didn't think it was considered that. We all know the songs like Easy Come, Easy Go, Headed for a Heartbreak, which is was my first favorite from them. Damn good song.
Yeah.
But the first time I heard of them was the song 17. And if you heard that song as much as I have, yeah, you're going to question that song to bits now.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I never considered them even close to prog, but it's based on whoever made up this list.
Yeah, but then again, I don't know. There probably some people out there who made up that list probably knows more than we do. Apparently there.
That's a good possibility.
And what's sad is about them is that their career kind of got ruined by Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
Because that MTV show would often play their videos in between segments, and Beavis and Butthead be like, "Oh man, that song sucks. That sucks." And the kids at that time who were watching that show, that were into bands like Pearl Jam, Chili Peppers, they bought into that there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, the Winger sucks. White Zombie is the main thing there." And you got to remember, they had this little kid up there, and one of the characters, he would wear a shirt saying Winger on it there. And I guess he was looked on as a dork. So it kind of fits to say that Winger's career kind of like got cast off thanks to the alternative grunge movement, the alternative scene, the rock at that time, as well as Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know how MTV is, they're like
Oh, yeah.
visual radio, top 40 radio. Got to play what's current. Out with the
Yeah.
old, in with the new.
Next band I got, actually, I'm a big fan of. They're one of the first groups that had twin lead guitars,
Hmm.
Wishbone Ash.
Oh yeah, I heard that band I heard about that band many times in the past. There. Now
Have you not heard anything by them?
I don't. I think I may have had one song from them. I don't remember which. It may have been ages ago. I guess it may have been on some classic rock station back when I was living in Richmond, Michigan, on the job there.
Well, the song that used to get played a lot on the radio
Mm-hmm.
was a song called Blowing Free.
Okay, there. Now I want to know they're probably still together there. Just for the heck of it.
They've released about 30 albums, I believe.
Oh, okay. Wishbone Ash rock band here. Let's see there. They're still together. They are a British rock band who achieved success in the early and mid 70s. Their popular albums included Wishbone Ash, Argus, Wishbone 4, There's the Rub, New England, um, Pilgrimage, and
Hmm.
many other albums there. Yeah.
And like I said, their big thing was they had twin leads.
Yeah, that's good there, which is good. Usually, twin leads are usually necessary in these kind of bands, and also bits to say that bands with twin leads would like Thin Lizzy as well. They were a main essential part with bands like Judas Priest and Thin Lizzy and Iron Maiden years down the line. And some of that would also progress into bands like Avenged Sevenfold because there was a lot of harmonizing guitar licks on those groups' albums there.
Well, another group that's well known for actually two of them for almost triple leads
Yep.
is Leonard Skinner
Oh yeah, there.
and the Eagles
Yeah, true
in
there.
the later years.
Yeah. And of course, Eagles now, of course, is now a six-man lineup, with the passing of Glenn Fry, and of course the departure of Don Felder. When they decided to come back, they came back originally as a four-piece, and I guess they started out as a four-piece originally, if I'm correct.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah. All right. Okay, there. And the next on the list, dude.
Is we're moving to the Wise,
Yep.
and really the only one of consequence in the Wise
Yes.
is Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Correctly. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. One of the big ones next to Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Well, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Yes, and Genesis are basically considered the big three.
Yes. Yep, the big ones, where other bands that we had mentioned in the back, are still playing, to core audiences in places like theaters and various clubs here and there. But yes, now yes, giving them their credit, they still held on to their prog roots in the '80s after "Lonely of an Owner of a Lonely Heart" became a massive hit.
Yeah, which was kind of a departure, but not totally.
Not totally, whereas Genesis just went all top 40 with their songs.
True.
You know. And of course, now we have the two yeses hitting on the road there. There was one featuring a different singer, and there's another one featuring their main singer, John Anderson.
Yeah, and the mainstay of Yes that was there through all the permutations till he died
Yep.
was their bass player,
Chris
Chris
Squire.
Squire.
Chris Squire. He passed away in 2015 there. Which is sad because, he was one of the most unique bass players there.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've actually seen them in concert 3 times.
All right there.
Good concerts.
It was, yeah, definitely.
And then the last one I got, and this is ending it with a bang.
Well, we could go a
Frank.
little further if you wish to, because since we started so late there, if you like.
Well, this last one on the list, we can do something
Ah,
else.
that's right there. I forgot. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, like wow. And also, we gotta know YR said he messaged me a little something. He wanted to know if we still are, how far are we on the prog list that we got here. And I guess he could probably check back later on this program and to find out that we're at the end of the rope here.
Yeah, and we got to figure out what we're going to do.
Well,
Well, I guess it would be next Monday.
yeah, right there. Yeah, because we're gonna be. I figured we take a break, since it is Thanksgiving there. You did mention about wanting to do talking about movies and TV shows once again sometimes.
Yeah, we're not totally done with music,
Yeah,
but
that's true there. Because I know we
where
did.
do we go from here?
Well, I know we haven't yet to do any of the R&B acts out there, whether it's Luther Vandross, Freddie Jackson, the
Well, we
Isley
did
Brothers.
early stuff, but we hadn't done any lately.
Yeah, no, so we should definitely talk about the stuff in the '80s, like the Gap Band, the late great artist Prince. The time Morris Day and the time Rick James. We got to definitely talk about the '80s funk revolution there. Definitely talk
Yeah,
about that. Bands like
but
Midnight Star, my sister was big on those groups there. Very big.
yeah, but we also got um, the last one,
hmm On the list?
Frank Zappa.
Oh my gosh. The
That's what
iconic.
I call ending it with a bang.
Yeah, absolutely. Rest in peace, Frank. We still miss you to this day. Died in December of '93 of prostate cancer. He did work with some many accomplished musicians, including Steve Vai, Adrian Belew, Terry Bozzio, his drummer, who would later go on to co-form Missing Persons with his wife Dale. He worked with many other acts, and in fact, he even worked. He did a stint with Pink Floyd on stage at one point. They did the
Oh,
song "Interstellar Overdrive." It's on YouTube. They welcome him, Floyd welcomed him on stage, and they tell him what song they're going to do, and Frank was playing along with them there. Very interesting. That this was some sort of a Swedish rock festival.
yeah, because actually, Interstellar Overdrive is an experiment.
Yes, and of course Zappa, being the experimentalist that he was, he was one of the first rock acts out there to incorporate a xylophone into his songs there. And
Yeah,
we and you gotta, and I guess what I understand, you have to really he he was one unique composer when you think about it. There, he composed a thing called Thingfish back in the early '80s. He released tons of albums. He had many record labels distributing his music. From Straight, Discreet, Bizarre. You know, Barking Zappa Records at one point. Barking Pumpkin was his last one there. And apparently he was also into the stock market as well, because that would help finance his recordings and keep his record label going there. And also, I remember, I think I mentioned this, he would pay the distributor of his record label, whether it's BMG or EMI, whichever, he paid them the money to release his albums. That way, if the album tanks, the record label still has their money. That way, he doesn't have to be told what to play, how to play, or what to write, and write which kind of music he has to write. Because the only two main songs he has that were like considered commercial was Montana from Overnight Sensation to the well more successful Valley Girl from 1982. I had the album that it came on. Ship arriving too late to save a drowning witch. I had that album before the Valley Girl became a big hit there. I was like, wow, interesting. I remember one of our neighbors, we were talking, said, have you heard that song Valley Girl by Frank Zappa and his daughter Moon Unit? And said, I'm glad you asked that because I have that album where it's from. And it's like, oh, wow. And the thing is, I heard the title cut and a piece called Envelopes on a public radio station there, NPR station, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
and I just loved the way the guitar sounded. He had this flange on his guitar that I absolutely enjoyed. I remember the MTV Halloween performance that was broadcast on that station there. My
Yeah.
dad used to enjoy listening to that, because he was a big fan of Zappa's song Montana there.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it was obvious that he had a total disdain for disco.
Commercial. Yeah, but absolutely. The song Dancing Fool summed it all up.
And Disco Boy.
Yep, absolutely there. I mean, and those tracks came from an album called which had a disco theme, which had a disco themed title of "Shake Your Booty,"
Yeah.
and it wasn't the typical "shake your booty" words. It was pronounced in chic, a la something there. You have to go look up that album. It came out in 1979.
And of course, he had One Size Fits All,
Yep.
which had, come on, brain,
Mm.
I'm the Slime
Oh yeah.
oozing out from your TV set.
I think you're talking about Overnight Sensation.
That's it.
Yes, I
One
had that
Size
album.
Fits All was on that. There was a double set with both those albums on it.
Okay, I see there. But the same thing that they did with A Nice Pair, the two first Pink Floyd records that Harvest Records put it out.
Yeah. And there was Dirty Love.
Oh yeah, and of course Dynamo Hum, where Frank Zappa did his rap there.
And Stinkfoot.
Oh yeah, that was from Apostrophe. I had that record as well. And of course we cannot forget this one that my friend, old buddy Bennett from Roseville told me about, Billy the Mountain. That was on an
Yeah.
album called, Just Another Band from L.A.
Yeah.
featuring the
And I
members.
don't remember.
And it also featured the guys Flo and Eddie from the Turtles. They
Right.
were members of Zappa's Mothers for a while. And at that point, they were simply called the Mothers. The Mothers
Yeah.
invention was, kaput at that time. He apparently disbanded the group because of people being, having not recognized the good music. It became a bit him in the ass at that point. So he decided, continue as Frank Zappa and the Mothers.
Yeah. And another song that I remember that I liked real well was Cosmic Debris.
Oh yeah, that's another one. That's like something that kind of fits the mood, for all these internet scams when you think about it there.
Yeah. Is that a real poncho or a Sears poncho?
Yep. Mm-hmm. I'm having issues of my own, and you can't work them out. So take your this and that and ram it up your snout.
Yeah.
And like I said, that song sees perfectly fitting concerning all these internet scams, all these bullshit things that you see on Facebook. You get added. Give me a good example. That hasn't happened as of late, and I spoke about this a few times. You get these friend requests from these so-called ladies or these oddballish names. Turns out they're, hello, are you single? WhatsApp, the dating site, the adult site, is looking for single men for you to hook up with this lady here, which is a bunch of bullshit. I left a comment on this little subject there, and it was a thing under the name Ellen DeGeneres, but it was a misspelled name there, but the same pronunciation. It had a picture of Ellen with two hearts for eyes there. And it was like, you would just want a little, see my profile and look up to the link there below there. And I figure I reported it because I knew it was a fucking scam. So definitely, props to Frank for composing that song because, especially for this day and age, with all the internet scams that are out there.
Yeah. His most popular album was the one you mentioned a while ago, Apostrophe.
Yeah. And I think he also predicted the Illuminati. It's just as well there. He was on Arsenio Hall's show back, I think it was in 90, I think it was in 91 or 90 or something like that. He was talking about the Illuminati there.
Yeah.
Yep. And wouldn't you know, he struck gold with that situation there. Rest in peace, Frank. We miss you, dude. We do.
Yeah, I still remember when I was in college, there was a poster
Yeah.
that was released called, well, it was Frank Zappa sitting on the commode, called Phi Zappa Krappa.
All right. Oh man. Was it the one where he's sitting on the toilet?
Yep.
I remember seeing that there. There was a book of 70s, kids, college students on the front cover, and on the next to it there was a photo of Frank Zappa sitting on the dumpster there.
Yeah.
Jeez. And I guess the people were like too profound. Thought that was pretty profound there.
Yeah. He had his ways.
Yep, he did. And you know what? We still miss those ways today. No wonder the world we live in now is such an outright mess.
Yeah.
All right. So what do we now? Since we're taking this Thursday off and we resume on Monday, I suggest we do some R&B music. The R&B music, the funk revolution from the 70s and 80s there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some research because I'm not
I remember a lot
way
of,
up on it.
dude, I remembered a lot of that stuff. We also got to include some of the New Jack Swing acts as well there. Because the satellite radio that we have at my workplace still plays a lot of that stuff there. Whether it's old Prince, Belle Biv DeVoe, it would be nice to have them to play some Luther Vandross once in a while. But I think they did at one point there. I think it may have been. We got to include Luther Vandross because he was a badass of a singer there. Only probably, to me, the only singer that I know that could take a simple Dionne Warwick ballad like Anyone Could Had a Heart or a Carpenter's tune like Superstar and turn it into massive, major epics. Believe me, if anybody out there who hasn't heard what I'm talking about, look it up on YouTube and you see what the fuck I'm talking about. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess this concludes our list, I guess, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
All right there. Now,
and I don't have any other topics.
All right. Well, we get if you have anything, feel free to get with me on my Gmail and let me know. We can definitely go with that. There. All right.
Okay.
All right there. All right. So I said I get my notion what to do next there. I'll definitely get in touch with YR. About I guess he's doing his drama show on his channel there. I know I'm going to see what's going to be going on here because I know grocery shopping was already done by my sister while she was at her workplace there on the way back there. So I'll have to wait and see what goes on there. All right there.
Okay.
All right there. So for Arknolia and myself, we hope you enjoyed our list there, folks. And you have yourselves a good Monday evening there. All right. And as we said, we're taking a break this coming Thursday because it is Thanksgiving. And we will resume our program next Monday. All right, you guys have a happy